The lioness to tell her own story. The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
And all the while when His Majesty was in the field, Empress Menen was holding forth. I mean, I am just so proud of the example that she set. I can't say enough. That motorcade was not only used during the time of war, but even afterwards. When, of course, a motorcade is exactly that. Several cars in a row escorting someone of importance. But she would halt the motorcade because the people of Ethiopia genuinely did not know what to do with disabled children. And they would leave them at the side of the road to collect money, alms from people who felt sorry for them passing by. And this to Empress Menen was repulsive. Why are we doing this with children? She would pick up Ethiopia's children, seek out their guardians, and ask for permissions to take them back home. Empress Menen created not only the first school for girls, but the first school for the disabled in 1948.
Well, front to us, a son was born and a child was given.
I want to ask you a question. Have you gotten your book? Haile Selassie's Ethiopia Volume 1, The Rise of the Priest Warrior King. I've read the book in its entirety, and I must say it's very inspirational, very informative, and very historical, right?
Them call him Rastafari. When he was born, rain fall from sky. Them call him Rastafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Rastafari. Lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Rastafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England.
Yes, I give thanks. Well, Empress Menen has inspired I to create, based on her energy that she shares with I, an entire worldview, called Blue Fire. And so Blue Fire, as Janine alluded to earlier, is the divine feminine energy of the Rastafari woman, with Empress Menen as the model for that energy. And so Blue Fire, if I were to do a juxtaposition between Blue Fire and the red fire or the red flame that the Rastafari man is connected with, is a more controlled fire. Blue fire is the hottest fire on the fire spectrum. It is a very oxygen rich fire. And so it is that fire that Empress Menen has shared with I, and I in turn have shared that energy with my sister. And so one of the ways that I and I come together to synergize that energy is through a annual Empress Menen Asfa Blue Fire Leadership I treat. So Empress Menen, for I, like I said, being born under the zodiac sign of Aries and knowing that leadership is one of the key characteristics of the Aries woman, it caused I to go into looking at Empress Menen's liberty, her life, and I know that Haile Selassie advocates leadership as well. So knowing that they are paired, and we know that his leadership is always exampled and is out there, it caused I to go within and say, well, what does her leadership look like? Because I've seen it, and can I identify her leadership? And if I can identify it, can I create a model for the Rastafari woman to utilize in her works? And so I have done that, and I have created the Empress Menen Asfa Blue Fire Leadership model, which rests on 3 pillars. You have exigency leadership, which is also, you can call it emergency leadership. that we see the Empress employ during times of duress, during the invasion. We saw that leadership kick in. There's also truths and rights leadership that we see her employ when it comes to advocating for women's rights, the abolition of child marriages, and then there is iritical leadership. And that iritical leadership we see when she goes into deep prayer and deep Isis, when she is in the monastery in Palestine. So those are the three pillars that her leadership model rests on. And so not only Rastafari woman, but the Rastafari man too can do himself justice by also studying her leadership and pairing that leadership with the leadership of Haile Selassie. So that's my primary work at this time, working with Rastafari women. And now I have given myself a charge to work with Rastafari young women. And when I say young women, I mean the ages of 18 to 35, because I do believe that there is a gap there. And I think that you have women of my age and older, you understand, who've lived the liberty. I've been in the liberty almost 40 years. Next year makes 40 years. And I know that I need to connect with those sisters who are coming behind me, because they're going to carry this blue fire torch. When I'm sitting in Lalabella or wherever I relocate to, I need to know that these sisters are over here or wherever they are within the diaspora doing the work.
Give thanks, give thanks. Empress Sinai, the impact.
Yeah, Empress Menen's influence is far-reaching. So I think for me, her emphasis on the importance of education is something that's always stuck with myself. And the importance of educating the next generation so that they can contribute to their country, to their communities, to their families. And that's something that I have taken and sort of woven into the pages of my publication, Just Jah magazine. Every page is about educating the next generation about Rastafari, about what it means, about our achievements as a community, about the spiritual importance of the movement as well, and the obstacles that we've overcome. And that's just how I'm sort of making sure that I carry forth Empress Menen's legacy, is that she is celebrated in our publication, you know, and also when I'm grounded in my community, I'm very involved in the Rastafari community in the UK. I think you mentioned it earlier. I am a second generation Rastafari. My children are third generation Rastafari. And it's really important for me to also educate my children on the history of Rastafari and on the history of Empress Menen, especially for my daughter, so that she can see that there is this example of a woman who not only was a fantastic mother and a brilliant wife, but she was really a great leader. You know, she really helped others. She really played it forward in passing that torch and helping others as well on their journey. So I would say that's her legacy. And I will do everything that I can to amplify Empress Menen's story and her legacy with my platform.
Give thanks. And I want you to just quickly talk about the role of Rastafari independent non-aligned media in amplifying that legacy as one of our pioneers in the space.
Yeah, I think it's really important. As we had a conversation, I think last strong, about the importance of the media. The media hasn't always been a friend to the Rastafari community. A lot of the reporting in the past has been biased, has been steeped in racial prejudice, you know, negative connotations about who we are. So for me to have a platform, it's about righting that wrong and saying, you know, you're not going to dictate to the world who we are. You know, it's about us telling our own stories, and that can be really powerful. I don't think we realize how powerful the media is in terms of shaping people's perceptions, in terms of making sure some history lives and some history is buried. And this platform and just everything that's been discussed already shows how important it is to have safe spaces where Rastafari can come together and share our history in such a open and honest way. So I think it's really important, and I commend you for creating this space for us all to join.
Well, again, I'm inspired by the iWorks, and it's a mutual admiration society. Dr. Asantewaa, Oppong Wadie, the legacy.
Give thanks. So I want to point out some things that I would like people to remember about Empress Menen. Um, and each year in Chicago, we try to take a large window of her life and highlight that window, and make it palatable and accessible, because actually in Chicago, Empress Menen Day is patronized by more non-Rastafari people than Rastafari people. We actually have the general public just show up saying that they want to learn. So that has been a blessing. But every year we have to kind of, how do we connect her to you in a new way? So last year I want to talk about the connection that we made with Mother Mamie Till, who is Emmett Till's mother. And I'm sure, if I'm assuming wrongly, let me know, that most people know who Emmett Till is, of that teenager who was killed by white supremacists in Mississippi. And the decision that his mother made, not only to have an open casket and everything that went with that, but to travel back south and hold people accountable. And she took what I call that dangerous car ride. And I was able to say that dangerous car ride, what she explains like the Underground Railroad in reverse. That is, she was smuggled from house to house because she said police, vigilantes had her license plate number. And they were on the lookout for her, waiting for her on the back roads between Chicago and Mississippi to shoot and kill her upon seeing her. So she was smuggled back into Mississippi to testify against these murderers. Well, that Empress Menen did something very similar. Also took that historic car ride. She tells this to a journalist. She said, I was never afraid of those death-dealing bombs. She said, when the bombs were falling in Addis Ababa, I would not rest in the palace. They had underground places that they went when bombs were falling. She said she ordered her motorcade with her children begging her to sit still, stay here. We need you to live. Our father is in the field already. Where are you going? Empress Menen loaded up her motorcade and went out into the streets and told people who were vendors, people who sell wares like bread, like fruit, and are probably not aware of what is happening. Like, run to the mountains. She was like, let's limit the fallout. You need to go to the mountains and hide. You might not have a bunker at home like I do, but the mountains will protect you. She circulated that city. She circumvented that city, went around and around and made sure that people were out of the way of harm. She was called again and again, come back, come back. Word got to her that she should come back. It's not safe. It is not safe. And she said, I only went back when it got really severe. And all the while when His Majesty was in the field, Empress Menen was holding forth. I mean, I am just so proud of the example that she set. I can't say enough. That motorcade was not only used during the time of war, but even afterwards, when, of course, a motorcade is exactly that. Several cars in a row escorting someone of importance. But she would halt the motorcade because the people of Ethiopia genuinely did not know what to do with disabled children. And they would leave them at the side of the road to collect money from people who felt sorry for them passing by. And this to Empress Menen was repulsive. Why are we doing this with children? She would pick up Ethiopia's children, seek out their guardians, and ask for permissions to take them back home. Empress Menen created not only the first school for girls, but the first school for the disabled. In 1948, she created the school for the disabled, the deaf, the blind, people who have physical deformities. So we really see someone maximizing what we call ma'at, do good, speak well, speak good, do good, right? Empress Menen was active, you know.
Yeah, Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie the first. Tell the people about Empress Menen. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, well, through the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see the city streets them flood. But when the hurricane blow down their wall, I'll be by your side and me nah budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. Your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. That light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see their city streets them flood. When the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me now budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. Your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. Your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people, maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child. That's why them no like the light when you smile. That's why them no like how your body curve. The way how you dance get on Babylon nerve. Them no know how the Almighty you serve. Want to be a queen, so a king you deserve. And I'll be by your side when things get worse. When the city flood cause the dam just burst. When you can depend on no state or church. Firm like a Menen and Haile Selassie first.